great to be here today.
Well, it's great to be here too, Dr. Deb. Thanks for having me.
You're welcome. You know, one thing that struck me, Will, when we go all over the state and we're representing the Real Estate Career Academy, my students want to be like you. So I want you to tell me, how in the world can we do a better job of attracting people just like you to real estate?
Okay. The best way I can answer that question, how to attract people like me in the world of real estate, is exactly what Real Estate Career Academy did for me and exactly what Matrix did for me. They made it a way where I can find who I was. What Matrix did a great job is by hiring your company on and by having training events where we're not talking about how to close or the best way to do a tour, but we learned about emotional intelligence and we learned about what makes us special, like what is our genius zone.
Right, the genius zone.
The genius zone. So I didn't have any idea what the genius zone when I started, but your first training was able to open that eye for me. And I realized that my biggest genius zone is relationship building.
Right.
And I just strengthened that for the past 4 years, and now we're here today.
I know, I love it.
Yeah.
You know, something that struck me is I believe everybody in their career have these defining moments in their life.
Yeah.
Tell me about one of your defining moments that you said, I'm going to go this way and not that way.
Okay, my defining moment has to start before I even got into the world of real estate. So a little bit about my story, my testimony, where I came from is I started Georgia State University around 2012. My first year, I did not focus the way that I was supposed to, and I actually had to go back to my hometown, McDonough, Georgia, and I had to get a job. My mom told me, she said, either you're getting a job or you're going to the military because you're not sitting around here playing video games all
Right.
day. So the first job that I was able to find was at a Kroger gas station. My first check was $200 after an 80-hour work week. It was a moment where I was looking through the double pane window and I looked at myself and I said, this is not the life that I want. And that was the first time where I decided that I got to take an investment in myself and I have to surround myself with people that can change my life. So I made it a goal to start serving in my community again, to start serving at my church again. And doors were able to open up to where I can now meet people like you. I had to change my circles. I had to elevate. That was the defining moment.
I always tell my students, and you've heard me say this too, show me your 5 closest friends and I'll show you your future.
Come on, I love that quote. That's beautiful.
And, you know, just talking about our genius zone,
Yeah.
the 2 most important days of your life, the day you were born and the day you know why.
And the day you know why.
What is your why?
My why. To me, it starts with this. I'll say this. I have a belief that me being successful is not about me being able to buy the newest car or the newest house and all that. It's nice because it comes with it. But I believe what Dr. Martin Luther King dream was about. And that is when you're successful, it doesn't only affect your life.
Right.
It affects generations of life. And you did an amazing quote, and my mom actually did the same quote in her dissertation. What was that quote that you said about Dr. Martin Luther King?
That you don't have to see the whole staircase, you just have to see the next step.
You just happen to see the next step. When we're successful, when I'm successful, it's not just about me. It's about the lives that it affects. So that's my why. I have to become successful because there's somebody out there who's in a bad position that needs to know that they can make it too. So I do it for them.
I always say that your mental magnet has to be stronger than your problem.
Exactly. Yeah.
And, you know, I wake up every morning for the Real Estate Career Academy and through my other company, the Quadrillion, to really think about where are we going to find somebody to pass that torch and the baton. Like, who are you going to pass it to? And Will, I told you that day at lunch, you are one of those chosen people that I'm going to give my baton to because you're going to run with it and you're going to take it to places that you're just going to discover new places to use your genius zone.
Yes, ma'am.
Talk a little bit about the Careers Building Communities. That was a project between 29 trade associations that all came together. Doug Bibby was one of the geniuses behind that, along with Mike Bellaman and Cornet Global and Henry Chamberlain at BOMA. But that was really a project where people said, I don't have to get the credit. That 29 organizations came together to say, we've got to do a better job of attracting people to real estate. Whether you want to be a broker, whether you want to be a space planner, whether you want to be a corporate real estate advisor. Talk about your experience on that website.
It's incredible.
I love it.
Thank you for creating.
Well,
CBC.
I didn't do it. I was just the content
Thank you
corrector.
for being a part of it,
right.
but it's amazing that y'all were able to take all these years of wisdom, of decades and decades, and make it like this very eatable, relatable. You can go on your phone right now.
Right.
To careerbuildingcommunities.org.
Right.
And you can take this quiz. It's 12 questions. It's
Right.
very easy. It's not like the SAT.
Right.
And it can actually give you the first step on how to start your real estate career. I kind of knew what I wanted to do, but I never really saw a learning path or
Right.
broken down like that before.
Right.
I took the quiz like 4 times, and it was just really fun. It was just cool to see it. But one of the things that I loved about it, the questions that they asked, it kind of reminded me of who I was when I was a kid.
Right.
And it was fun. And it made me remind me, they said, if you do what you love every day, you never work a day in your life.
Right.
So CBC is a great start to do that, like to find your path.
You know, I think one of the advantages about that particular website is it has a broad audience.
It does, yeah.
We can attract high school students.
Yeah.
We can attract college students. We can attract people at a technical school that says, you know, I love working with my hands. I love working outside. We find a lot of students, Will, that not everybody's meant for a 4-year degree.
Right.
And one thing that struck me in talking to you is we have students with a lot of student debt.
We do. We do.
And I read a statistic the other day that student debt outpaces consumer debt. Being in the apartment industry, you were able to pay down your debt.
Oh, man.
Talk a little bit about that.
So the first shout out I got to give to is my amazing mother. My mom, not only is she a lieutenant colonel, not only is she a minister, but she's a financial coach as well. And one of the principles that she taught me is basically how to budget,
Right.
how
Right.
to put a plan behind your money. And one of my other mentors named Cliff Trammell, before I got into the apartment industry, it's just a powerful story. We're sitting down at his table.
Right.
And I'm working 3 jobs. I'm selling headphones at the airport. I'm DJing, hosting weddings, and I'm driving for Uber and Lyft. I'm doing it all,
Right.
and I'm not getting ahead. And I got about $18,000 worth of student debt in my face. And I'm just wondering, I was like, how am I ever going to get ahead? And
Right.
I just remember the words that my mom always told me. Start with God and start with a budget. So Cliff has the same beliefs.
Right.
We sat down at his kitchen table and we wrote out my debts from smallest to largest, and we put a plan behind it. And he asked, when do you want to be debt free? I said 24 months. We broke it down to the exact dollar amount that I would have to pay every 2 weeks if I wanted to be debt free. And the numbers were like this. I had to have a job that paid about $16 an hour. I had to have a job that paid commission, and I had to have my expenses as low as possible.
Right.
And the biggest line item of the expense on people's budget is their rent. I was paying like $800 per rent. And the strategy is that you take your biggest line item and you attack that towards debt. After we looked at that budget and I looked at what I had to do, I stopped. I said, there's no way I'm going to be able to do this. But it's something powerful about having a plan.
Yes.
It started to work out. We had our first gig at a Steelworks grand opening party for Matrix Residential.
Right.
That's where I met Renee Hill and Pamela Duncan, and they said, you could be a leasing agent. They planted the seed in my head.
Right.
I said, I went back to Cliff. Cliff used to work for Worthing. He said, you know, Tracy Bowers, she runs Matrix. She has a different mindset. She believes in people.
Right.
She said, you're perfect for Matrix. I didn't even believe that. I said, what? Are you serious? He said, I was like, well, how much does something like that pay? He said, usually about $12 an hour. I said, okay. He said, but Matrix is different. I said, what? He said, Matrix starts their people up a little bit higher.
Yes.
And they usually give free apartments. And I said, no way. I said, what I got to do? He said, create a new resume.
Right.
And just be ready. We got booked to do Matrix Managers Retreat. And this is when Matrix had only like 20 managers.
Right.
And they got hundreds and
Yeah,
thousands.
right.
But At the Matrix Managers Retreat, that's where I met the hiring manager, Janine Haley. I gave her my resume, and on July 15, 2015, I started with Matrix. I was able to get that hourly job. I was able to get on the property. I was able to take my commissions and follow that plan and become debt-free in 2 years. Because it started with my mentors, my mama, Cliff, Tracy, Renee, Pamela, everybody.
Right.
And I'm sitting here with you today.
Well,
That's it.
I want us to talk to your mom, not only because she's a lieutenant colonel,
Oh, yeah.
but I also want to talk to her because when we talk about attracting people to the real estate industry, to me, there's no better prepared target audience than veterans.
Yes.
Their discipline,
Their discipline.
their work ethic, they're used to moving around, they're used to having a portable career.
A perfect asset.
And I just, we need to talk to your mom. Can we do that?
Let me see if I can give her a call. Dr. Lieutenant Renata W. Hanna, are you here? Are you here? Mom, are you here?
Well, now it's great to be here with Will and your mom, Dr. Renata Hanna. And you are a lieutenant colonel in the Army, correct?
Yes, ma'am.
And
Lieutenant Colonel
you
Dr.
are almost, what, to your 40 years?
I just went 40 years, June 5th, a couple days ago. I have 44 decades in the military, 2 years ago. 2 days ago.
Wow. Congratulations. Thank you
Yes,
so much for your
ma'am.
service.
Thank you.
And thank you for giving us an amazing person in Will. I mean, your son is absolutely amazing. And my genius zone is identifying rock stars.
Yes, thank you.
But,
Thank you.
You know, one thing that I really want to talk to you about is we know that parents, we influence our children by modeling, I mean, you know, just demonstrating what success looks like. How do you think we can talk to parents about careers in real estate? What's something that we should be telling parents?
Well, William, before he started in real estate, and he started at Georgia State, and he already spoke his path when he wasn't successful at first. I said, no, William, we'll be able to do it, but you need to get a job to stay in my house. Right. And I did say that.
That's important.
And I met the manager at Kroger, and I said, my son is looking for a job. He said, oh, so he said, well, tell him to come up so I can interview him.
Right.
And so William went up, he hired him on the spot, and he put him outside with the gas station. And William said, Mama, we couldn't be on our phone, so I will bring a book and a journal. And I always told my son,
Love the journal. Love the journal. Love this journal.
And he said, because he couldn't be on the phone, so he was in there for 8 hours, you know, and he said, it gotta be more than this. So he got his journal, he started reading, started setting goals and everything. And then I think he went to some kind of conference. And then he saw somebody at the airport, and he said, I would love to do that. And that's how he ended up getting hired at the airport. Because it's a path that we get prepared for.
Sure.
So he went from Kroger to, what was it, Emotions?
Emotion entertainment.
Emotion
Yes,
entertainment.
yeah,
entertainment.
yeah, right.
And so William, he was out there and he did the best job that he can do. He was out there creating opportunities.
Right.
And so he was in front doing this dance and put it on social media. And then he started getting he was like the top salesperson there.
One thing I want to ask you about is we see so many times that people, you know, your path is curvy. Your road to success is not straight.
Yes, ma'am.
And how could we, you know, veterans, that's an area that I find that I want to expand careers building communities. And I know this summer in July,
Yes, ma'am.
you are going to be going to a particular event.
Yes, ma'am.
Describe that event.
Okay, actually, it's going to be the largest Get Resilience summit. It's going to be an online summit, so we can reach people everywhere.
Okay.
And so I will be teaching from my Renata Hanna Academy about financial coaching and people owning business, because I also help people from A to Z.
Right.
Do you have a mental business or do you have a legal business?
Right.
And so CBC would be a perfect fit. And actually, Mark,
love it.
he's going to be interviewing me for my get resilience, so I'm gonna make sure I
Right.
say everything about CBC.
Well,
community building.
I definitely want to introduce careersbuildingcommunities.org
Yes.
to a group of veterans.
Yes, this a
Because
perfect
today there's not one city, there's not one community that doesn't need a real estate professional.
Yes.
And we provide those portable careers.
Yes.
So when you're in the military, as you know,
Yes,
you move
ma'am.
around a lot.
Yes,
You just
ma'am.
got back from where?
Germany.
Wow.
8 months ago from Germany, Wiesbaden, Germany.
So,
Yes.
just talk just a second about that. I have a statistic, and you can quote me if I'm off. It says that a person that comes home from the military is typically out of work for 6 to 8 weeks when
Yes,
they
ma'am.
return.
Yes, ma'am.
What could we do? What message could we send to a veteran that would pique their interest about how to get connected to not only careersbuildingcommunities.org, but how could we approach them about considering a career in real estate?
Well, because most soldiers stayed in from 3 years until retirement, 20, 30 years.
Sure.
They already got the skills. The skills are transferable.
Perfect.
And so this would be take them to a whole nother level to communication skills, emotional intelligence that
Right.
you talk about.
Exactly.
To transfer that.
Well, if we're talking to students,
Yeah.
and they say, well, you know, I like diversity. I like having, you know, something to do different every day.
Of course.
What 3 or 4 skills are we going to tell a high school student? You're going to use these skills every single day. What would those skills be?
The first skill is time management.
Right.
Number 1 and number 4.
Right.
But no, time management is probably the number 1 thing that I learned in real estate because you are planning your day. Number 2, imagination. If you are a creative person, or artistic person, the sky is the limit. With marketing, outside marketing, half of real estate is building relationships.
Right.
So going out to businesses, being able to communicate.
That's
with
a
people.
life skill.
That's a life skill.
Right.
A lot of things are real estate because everything starts with real estate. The house, the building that we're teaching schools in, the way that we move people into their apartment. You never forget where you live. You never forget it. You never forget where your office looks like. That's super important. The number 3 skill. I would say, this is more on, I would say, organization.
Right.
Organization. She's laughing at that one. Real estate has taught me that if you do not have a plan for your day, you are going to fail.
Right.
So organization is the number 3. And number 4 skill, what would I say? Creativity.
Creativity.
I've never been in an industry that can fund the crazy ideas that I have.
Right.
It is amazing. Like, for example, I work with Edge on the Beltline.
Right.
We're an amazing lease up, a quick little plug.
And that's where we are today. Yeah.
I'll tell you this really amazing event that we're having. We're combining silent disco, the little silent headphones with
Right.
music, with an open house. With Matrix, they support amazing, innovative ideas. We're throwing that event.
Right.
This taught me how to go get sponsorship money to fund that event to where we don't even got to spend a dime.
I love it.
It taught me that when you work at a community, I'm a property manager, I do leasing. There's over 350 apartments here.
Right.
There's over 400 people that are paying $1,600 or more in rent. And we have the power to text them a flyer. That's powerful to a business.
Right.
You can go to any business and you can say, hey, I represent a community of 400 professional people. What do you want to do for our community? And they will give you so much stuff.
I love it.
They want
I
to
love it.
communicate. They want to collaborate. They want to give you money. They want to give you gifts.
Right.
That's probably the coolest skill that
Sure.
it's not about how you look. It's not about who you think you are. It's not about your skin color. It's not about your education level. It's about how you connect with people.
Right.
And that's probably the number 4 skill that I would say.
I have 2 more things that I want to talk about.
Yeah.
One is, I love the quote that if you want to go fast, go alone. If you want to go far, go together.
Oh, I like that. Oh, I got to write that one down, Dr. Devin.
Well, that leads me into two things that I want to talk about.
Yeah.
One is I've spent 35 years in the real estate industry
Okay.
building community.
Yeah.
And we talk about diversity and inclusion. And sometimes it breaks my heart that somebody thinks that that's an initiative instead of a mindset.
Yeah.
There's a difference in something that's in your heart and something that's on your to-do list.
Yes.
Talk a little bit about how we as an industry can do a better job of getting diversity in ideas, diversity in people. How can we improve on diversity?
Diversity. Okay. I gotta really say why I love my company again. Matrix Residential, the way that they build these amazing teams of people that go property to property.
Right.
If you ask them, hey, how did you even get in this industry? They're gonna tell you, oh, it was my brother that knows my sister, that knows my cousin, that knows
Right.
my brother. The way that they build diversity is that they let me go out and get my friends to come join the property. You have an amazing belief,
Right.
where you believe to build people up. Matrix, Reka, they all do a great job of taking potential and turning it into a valuable skill. It's like an iron sharpen iron mentality.
Right.
And that's how we get more diverse. If you continue to let your warm base, like the people who already work for you, go
Right.
get their people
Right.
and bring them in,
That's great.
it magically next thing you know, you have a full community
Right.
of people, all different types.
Well, it amazes me when somebody says, oh, we have an opening on our team. I'm like, you shouldn't have an opening on your team
That's what I'm
if
saying.
you have engaged people, right?
saying, yes.
Because I couldn't imagine. I mean, just look at what we've assembled today.
Yeah.
You know, the other thing that struck me, I had an opportunity to interview people that had net worths of 40, 50 million. And something that struck me was how they managed their time and the way they journaled.
Oh.
And the first day, Will, that I met you, you came into my class ready to take new information in. And you have a hungry heart. And when we had lunch that day, you were writing in this journal. And you allowed me to write a message in your journal, right? Talk to me about how you set your intention every single day.
Okay.
Because I say in my classes, if you don't run your day will run you.
Okay.
And successful people know how to manage their relationships and they know how to manage their time. Who influenced you on journaling?
Well, I mean, she's kind of far away. She's right here. If I could share a little of your testimony, is that okay?
Yes,
Just a tad
yes.
bit. So before the doctorates, before accolades, degrees, and everything, my mom was part of that struggle a little bit. It was a point of our lives where we actually had to stay in a house with close to 10 people in a 3-bedroom, 3-bath home, and can I go all the way?
Yeah.
I could go all the way. We were sleeping in a sleeping bag. But the thing that kept my mom going, the things that I learned from her, was to keep God first and to get a notebook. My mom has a garage,
Of
a
notebooks.
library
Of notebooks.
of notebooks. You want to believe it.
My daughter has that too.
Full stacks from the
Right.
bottom of the floor. I said, why does she write these notebooks? Like I'm talking about, they got green, red, blue pen ink. It's some on her hands. Not now that it's
Right,
beautifully
right,
manicured, but
Thank you, sweetie.
before, and I just didn't understand it. And I said, Mom, why do you write so much? She said, Habakkuk. I said, Habakkuk? Habakkuk what? Habakkuk 2, write the vision, make it plain. My mom believes that everything that you need, it starts with the vision.
Right.
It starts with being able to collect. Listen, paper has a better memory than you.
You don't have to remember what you
don't
write
have to
down.
remember it. And
That's right.
the way I move, I go everywhere. So
Yeah.
in my adult years, when I was actually trying to figure out how do I grow, I had to journal.
Yes.
Because I can't remember it all.
Right.
I can't remember it all. And we're all writing a story.
Yes.
You're writing
History.
a book.
Oh,
I'm writing a book.
yes.
She's writing a
Yes.
book.
We do have a multifamily housing textbook.
We do. And
Yes, that's right.
we got to be able to use this
Sure.
to reference back. But also, it's just something powerful about putting your ideas down on paper.
Therapeutic.
It's therapeutic and it makes it real.
Right.
Every word you were saying to me the first day we did that lunch, I knew it was going to be gold. I knew it was going to be
I
platinum.
did too.
That's
did
why.
too.
That's why I had to write it all down.
I did too.
That's why I journal everything.
So, Will, let's wind our conversation up, and
Why?
I could stay here forever
I
too.
know.
But I want you to tell the audience.
Yeah. Hey, audience.
I believe in your 4 core things. It's like the legs on a chair. To keep you grounded, to keep you balanced. Everybody has 4 or 5 things, but let's just pick 4.
Okay.
What are Will's core 4 things that we want to tell the audience about life, careers in real estate, anything? Just what is on your mind? What are your core 4 thoughts for today?
Family. Faith. Friendships. And last,
Future.
and future.
Yes.
Future. Yes, girl.
F.
Y'all hear a book out of that?
I love it. I love it.
Yeah.
I love it.
Family, faith, friends, and future.
And don't be afraid to fail.
And don't be afraid to fail.
Because it's success.
Five
turn
legs.
I
inside.
Little
know.
bonus.
You know,
Stool.
fail. First attempt in learning.
Oh, you better rush to failure.
We got to rush to failure
rush
so
it.
that we can succeed in our genius zone. Mom, you are an amazing woman.
Thank you, Dr. Davis.
And I always say, you know your fruit by the tree. And you are an anchor. And if I had to give you a name, it would be a sequoia tree because it's tall and strong.
Wow.
And you know, you just always have a strength about you. And I know your fruit. And I see what this guy is about. And thank you for raising an amazing, amazing man. And I am going to do everything in my power to help him be everything that he can be because he is making the Real Estate Career Academy great and he's helping to promote careers building communities. So with that, thank you both. Thank you.
You're welcome,
And Dr.
Dr.
Debbie,
Debbie.
I just want to say thank you for what you do.
Yes.
You are one out of a million
Legend.
person. You are a legend in this industry.
well, thank you.
For anybody that's looking out here, you have to value
Yes.
people. You got to stand. I stand on your shoulders. So thank you so much for giving this platform, this opportunity.
thank you so
And I hope to
much.
make you proud.
Oh, you already have. You already have. That concludes our interview. Thank
Yeah.
you. Awesome.